Life coach Nicolai Andler is joining us in studio to let us all know how we can stay on top of our New Year's resolutions this year. Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
Why do people make New Year's resolutions?
I think it's a mixed motivation. There is something around habit. Other people do it, so I should be doing it. So there's a bit of a peer pressure thing.
Yeah.
I think it's also the end of years. Often you have TV kind of summaries of the years, resumes, and then people think, okay, well, let me reflect on my life.
Yeah.
And maybe I should actually be, fixing the things I didn't achieve and actually then starting. I mean, New Year's resolution, nothing else than a constructive plan.
Right. Well, you're a life coach. Should people be making New Year's resolutions or these constructive plans at the beginning of the year?
Well, maybe I'm a bit sarcastic. I'm saying, why only once? Mm-hmm. And if you do it for the right reasons. So don't do it because, your friends, your buddies do it,
yeah.
and you read something in some magazines and then you feel obliged to do it and you kind of make up some good reasons and you have some ambitious goals, but if I ask you 2 weeks later, it's like you always forgotten about them.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, reflect on what it really means to you.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something around make your own goals.
Yeah.
Don't use externally adopted ones. So I'll give you an example, and we can actually listen at our own language mm-hmm. to pick up, is it actually our use? If I hear people saying, oh, I need to lose some weight, or I really should be doing, yeah. I'm thinking, the words need or should is not really me. If a person says actually, I want to do and I will, that resonates. That's really truly them. Versus if it's like, I need to or should, I often get the hint that it's externally adopted mm-hmm. and they feel obliged, by society, parents, partners, but it's not really them. So this is often where the New Year's resolution has a bit of how to say, it's a thing to do, but it doesn't really last.
How can people figure out what's really them and what's being influenced on them by their partners, the media, parents, that kind of thing?
Well, there's a very uncomfortable way of checking that out. Mm-hmm. Would you have those goals if nobody would actually see you achieving it, and nobody else would ever find out? So if the goals are really not to portray or to achieve towards something else, mm-hmm. to somebody else, but it's truly me, nobody else.
So you would do it if no one was around you, you were living in a log cabin?
I mean, let's say you make up the story, I want to do Kilimanjaro. Yeah. Okay, so while you're training, you're not talking to anybody about this trip.
Yeah.
And you're not going to prepare a slideshow afterwards to show your friends. You're not posting on Facebook.
That's really hard in this day and age to think of something like that. How do you recommend kind of getting inside of your head and really, really knowing what you would do and not share with your friends or kind of update your Facebook?
It's not so much about not doing it, but not having the urge to do it. So I'm not saying you're not allowed to talk about it, mm-hmm. but if you can't stop the urge to do it, then maybe you're not doing it truly for what it is, but rather to have a story around it. And I'm not saying everything you do must be hidden. I'm not saying it needs to be hidden. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying have a different attachment to it. So if you're actually doing it for itself, then it's properly closer to really truly being yours versus have a story around it. And then if it's just a story around it, there's also a high likelihood it'll actually fade away over time, or you're not really committed to it.